Thinking about leaving your soul-sucking 9-to-5 job? One of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9 to 5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps so you will have hand holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. Hey there, let's face it, today's internet world is so saturated and everyone is fighting for that number one spot to be visible. It is no longer about running ads and having thousands of people on your email list. It is about building relationships and networking with others to grow your business and become visible. Hi, my name is Candace. I'm a podcast launch strategist and I help service-based business owners develop and deliver their message to the world by using platforms like podcasting and bringing valuable content to those who need to hear what they have to say. Welcome to the Hello C.S. Dorsey Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Hello C.S. Dorsey Podcast. I have Julia today on the podcast. How are you doing today?
Good. Really happy to be here.
Yay, we are so happy to have you. So could you tell everyone who you are and what you do?
Yeah, so I'm Julia and I work as a holistic health coach and a life transformational coach. And I basically help people to reach their health and well-being goals at the same time as they create a lifestyle for themselves that brings out the best in them.
Awesome. I love it. So let's talk about the inspiration behind you starting your business. What was that like for you?
Well, the way it started, so I used to work at a gym as a personal trainer. I have a degree in kinesiology and health sciences, so it was kind of like a natural direction to take. And when I was working as a personal trainer, I started noticing that when people, there was kind of a few groups of people. So some people did really well and achieved their goals pretty quickly, and other people didn't. And I couldn't figure out why at first. And then, so I started talking to them. I started getting to know them better. And what I noticed is that exercise and healthy eating wasn't enough. Like I thought, you see, the way they taught me in university was that, as long as a person is active and they eat health, have healthy eating habits and they kind of manage their stress levels, then they will be okay. But what I noticed is that there were the clients who didn't achieve their goals as quickly as they should have, according to plan. They had trauma from the past. They had emotional things that were getting in the way. And because you see, our thoughts and emotions actually impact our body very directly. So I just realized that, okay, I need to upgrade my skills, because if I'm going to really make a difference in people's lives, I need to figure out how to address the emotional aspects and also how to help people to create a lifestyle, because, they came to me for I had a few clients who exercised every day of the week, but that was really rare. And so spending 2 hours or 3 hours a week with me, that wasn't enough for to maintain proper health. I just expanded into helping people shift into the kind of lifestyle that really supported their well-being. And after that, what I started noticing, so when people started feeling better in general in their life, they started becoming more and more inspired to make a positive difference in the world. And that really inspired me. And so I started gaining more skills to support that aspect of their lives as well. And so that's how a Life is Possibly came together. And my belief is that everything is possible. And it's all about just finding the way. And when there's a will, there's a way.
So, that's right. I love that. I love those combinations that it comes together, because I agree with you. Trauma, past things, maybe someone said something that that says something to you, it generally sticks in your mind and you start to believe it because it starts to grow in your mind and it becomes almost a part of you. And just kind of like working through that in general, that, like you said, that can help tremendously in putting those combinations together. And then, you start achieving your goals. But I didn't really put the two and two together. I was like, that do make sense because when I do work out and then when I work through my mindset, I do notice that I can get those things done like off my checklist, just like boom, boom, boom. Versus when I'm like in my slump and I'm like, nothing happens. Yeah, yeah. I love it. So can you remember a time in your business or starting out where you had a hello moment?
Oh my gosh, I had many of those. It's because I've been doing this for 13 years and my business just kept shifting and transforming. Basically, as I grew, my business grew, and I still do it. Like I still step to the next level, and like the aha moment comes typically when something is challenging. And what I do is instead of like backing away from it, you know how like sometimes like if something is challenging for you, you're like, maybe I don't want to deal with it right, like you just there. So what I do is I hold the tension, and typically when something new comes up, and it's almost like I shift into a new direction. But in terms of like a specific aha moment, well, uh, let's just say, so when I started the business, that came from an aha moment because I remember I was working for corporate as a fitness coordinator, and I went camping with a bunch of my friends, and I was just sitting there looking at the fire. You know how fire just kind of like hypnotizes you, and you just start getting those. Well, at least I do. I get like those insights, and like all of a sudden, all of life makes sense, And I just realized at that moment that I cannot continue working in an environment that suffocated me and just didn't allow me to be fully who I am. And I just knew that I can't continue doing that, and I came back and quit, and the rest is history.
So when you came back, did you just like, okay, here's my 2-week notice, I'm out? And then when you left, it was kind of like, did you already have your business in place, or were you just kind of like sifting through like what to do next, or did you already have something in place?
I didn't have anything specific in place, but I teamed up with another organization that it seemed to be going in a good direction. So it was all about wellness, and I was going to be a consultant for them, but that actually didn't work out. But I worked with them for 2 years, and while I was working with them, I was actually building up my business as well. So by the time I left them, I already had something in place for myself.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yeah, some people they just like, yeah, I quit my job and I don't know what I'm gonna do now.
Yeah.
That's not something you can do here in California because everyone knows it's expensive, right? So it's like you just up and quit your job. You have to have something in place, and not only have something in place, it actually has to be lucrative and paying like not even double, triple what you're paying in your 9 to 5. So it's like, yeah. That's awesome. So let's talk about how to enroll people in your vision. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's actually sort of a part of my business. I have a lot of aspects to what I do. It's like a very holistic approach. And one thing is I facilitate a circle. It's called WomanSpeak, and it's similar to Toastmasters, which is a public speaking organization, but WomanSpeak is specifically for women. And the way we work with women is that we help women to connect to their body, the wisdom that resides in their body, and to basically create safety in their body. Because what we notice is that when a woman feels safe, she's actually able to share a lot of authentic insights, things that typically in presentations, it's very heady. It's like you memorize, it's like objective, boom, 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 and it's not very connecting. It's more like you get information thrown at you. And the way we train women in WomanSpeak is that we help women connect with their deeper wisdom so that they can actually share what is true for them. And as a result of that, change the perspective of a person who is listening, right? Because it's like when you um, when you when you say something that needs to be said but nobody is saying, it could actually change your entire perspective of life. And that's kind of what happens with WomanSpeak. So how to enroll women, people in your vision, is we encourage women to connect with their authentic vision. So for example, have you ever experienced like having a really powerful vision for something, right? So you can see how it's very inspiring, isn't it? It's like when someone is really passionate about something, it's so inspiring. So, and then we help women to share that passion in a way that actually helps people understand. So not only get really excited and inspired, but also understand how they can support that woman to help to bring this vision into reality. So that's sort of like, to summarize, how to enroll someone in your vision. It's like you share, you don't how sometimes it's like we don't want to, we might be worried about rejection, or we might be like, so we sort of like censor ourselves. We kind of like, we say maybe like half of what we wanted to say, or maybe we say it but we substitute certain words for words that we think are going to be better received, but that dilutes the vision. So the encouragement, the invitation here is to have the courage and faith to really share who you authentically are. And when that comes forward, it's incredible what happens. I actually had an experience like that in May. I decided to do a summit. I called it A Life with Possibility, Uplifting Happiness and Wellbeing on the Planet. And the summit was all about women coming in and sharing what they see possible for the future of humanity and the future of the world. And I thought, when I just started that, I was very inspired by that vision. And when I started the project, I thought it's my project. Like, I thought I'm the one who is in charge of it. I'm the one who is bringing it forward. And then the more I started sharing about it with other people get so inspired that in the end, it was not my project. It was everybody's project. Everybody came together and they pulled their weight and they did their part. And it was just like the most amazing experience for me and for a lot of people, because it felt so easy. I honestly didn't feel I was working. It did not feel like work at all. It was just this very, very comfortable flow of people helping me, and me, like we're helping each other, we're collaborating. It was amazing. And that's what happens when you share your vision authentically without censoring or limiting yourself in any way.
Yeah, I get it. I can relate so well because I just did my first summit in January as well. It was the Christianpreneur Summit, and everybody loved it. Like, they was on board with the vision of it, and like you said, it flowed so well. Everybody came together, and I was like, that happened to me too. So yeah, you have something when everybody can see it and they're willing to jump in and help. And like you say, yeah, it do become easy versus you have a vision, it's not really receptive, it's not really well received by other people, but you go through it, it becomes a little harder and tougher to work through. Yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of lose momentum, and you're like, at some point, like when things get hard, you're like, oh well, what's the point?
Exactly.
But if it's like energizing other people, it just magnetizes. It just magnetizes every
It does.
good stuff to you. So
Yes, it does. I agree so much. So any last minute advice you have for our listeners out there?
I would say, you know what, if you're, if you're into business or if you're into authentic living, just live full out. If you live full out, really good things are going to happen. If we contract and we try just to fit in, we end up with a half life, right? So yeah,
Yeah.
so just like go for it, live full out, be yourself, and you'll be amazed at what happens.
I love it. So where can everyone find you?
So I have a website, www.alivewithpossibility.coach. And what I do, I do a lot of things, but what I have on that website is I basically take people into nature. It could be done either in person if people are local or on the phone. So basically, the person goes on a hike by themselves and I coach them on the phone, or it could be done at home. I'd rather not, but because I think nature is gorgeous. But and I just we just talk, and I help clients find clarity about where they want to go next and how to get there.
That's awesome. That's a good idea. Like I've never heard of anyone coaching someone outside of, the whole, Zoom setting, you or your office or something like
Yeah,
that. Yeah, that's unique. I like that. That's really good.
yeah, 'cause, it helps open up perspective, because like if you just stare in one place, your perspective is narrowed down. But when you walk, especially if your body is moving, you get access to a lot more insight, a lot more information, a lot more clarity. So that's why I like to do it that way.
That's awesome. I love that. So we're definitely going to link those up in the show notes, so that everybody can just click and go directly to contacting you or following you on your social media. But Julia, thank you so much for being on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. That was fun.
Did you like today's episode? I hope you did. Join me next week for more valuable bombs, tips, and tricks on how to grow your business by taking action. If you like this podcast, subscribe and leave us a review, or take a snapshot of this episode and tag me on Instagram at csdorsey_hello. We would love to hear from you.